David Burnham. I'm a teacher and I teach computer science, different computer science classes. Uh, I grew up in a suburban neighborhood in upstate New York, so it was pretty typical. Um, the school was a pretty big high school that I went to, and otherwise, had both my parents were teachers, so I had spent a lot of time, summers traveling and things like that.
And I'm going to turn my voice memos on.
Sure. So both my parents were elementary school teachers, and then my sister also became an elementary school teacher as well. And they spent basically their entire career teaching. It was pretty good. I was into band, and my band teacher was one of my favorite teachers that I had. But my other classes were fine as well. I enjoyed my teachers. I don't say that there was many teachers I didn't like. I was not necessarily a straight A student, but I was a decent student, so I had no problems, and got along with my teachers well. I think when I was younger, I kind of wanted to get into something dealing with computer programmer and things like that. As I got into high school, I kind of changed more into engineering and wanted to get more into building things and stuff like that.
And how long have you been teaching for?
This is my 7th year teaching. I would say it's kind of seeing students kind of grow from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Especially teaching computer science, it's a subject that students don't necessarily know a lot about when they first start, and being able to see how they don't know anything at the start of the year, and by the end of the year they have some real tangible skills. On a regular day, usually probably about 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. And once you're home, what is the routine and what's the first thing that you do?
So usually the first thing I do when I get home is I exercise and just kind of relax for a little while. I have 2 young children at home that get home from school around 4 o'clock, so I take that first hour just to kind of get stuff done that I need to get done. Not a lot of emails. I don't get too many emails from parents, but grading-wise, depends on the assignments. Some assignments are bigger and it takes a while, but usually I can keep up with grading, and so maybe 20 or 30 assignments a day that I'll keep up with. Usually going home, but in the wintertime I do sponsor the robotics team and help out with that, and so that keeps me busy for a while after school. I think again, it's for me. I enjoy learning as a teacher, and what motivates me is kind of learning new subjects right along with the kids and seeing what they're doing, seeing the questions they ask, and especially some of my seniors that have been coding for 2 or 3 years. It's kind of taking new ideas and kind of exploring them with them. I try to do as little as possible on the weekends. I try to take the weekends for my family. What I will tend to do on weekends, not so much grading, but I will kind of get lesson plans together for the next week so that I make sure I know what I'm doing going into the next week. And then once I have lesson plans in place, then the extra time I have is filled up with grading. One of the things with the robotics team is it's really hands-on experience for the students, and so they take what they see in the classroom and apply it, whether it's building a robot or writing the code for the robot or things like that. And seeing what the first robotics team does, you know, just a very great program to be involved with, and so wanted to be involved with them, and glad that I'm able to do some at Hammond here. So I try to make sure I get everything done so that I can relax with my kids when they get home from school, and then on weekends as well. And then usually, for me, getting other schoolwork done is usually done, later at night as the kids are getting ready for bed or when they're doing their homework. I get overwhelmed sometimes, and what I tend to do when I get overwhelmed is start to look at my priorities. You make a list of things that have to get done and when they have to get done, and so that I can kind of start to manage it, and I can put the things off that are kind of overwhelming me, so I can find what things really don't need to be done right away and put them off so that my workload is a little bit less. So something I admire about my students is, my upperclassmen especially, their desire to really want to learn things. And so I can kind of give them a task, and they will not just get it done, but they will try to explore the best way to get it done. And they might look and share each other's work and say, okay, how did you do this? And look, and they're truly interested in understanding, not just getting the assignment done, but just taking it to the next level. I would say, I've only been teaching for 7 years, and my life has been relatively stable in that. I probably have changed their lives more. In particular, before I was here at Hammond High School, the school I taught at did not have a lot of computer science, and so bringing computer science to that school really helped change a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that didn't have that opportunity and were able to start to see it and got involved in directions that they didn't know they were going to get involved with earlier on in their high school. Yeah, I definitely try to communicate with them, and I try to be communicate on a very personal level with them. And so, I'm very open about where I live, things I do, my family, and my priorities in life, and kind of treat them as such, and try to understand them and build a relationship with them. Um, I think students sometimes feel that teachers are out to get them and are trying to get them, and I don't think it's necessarily true. I think teachers are trying to make things fair for all students, but not necessarily out to get different students. I think they're trying to actually help support all students and make sure it's fair across the board.